All right. Well, I'll just run through a overview of where we're at. So, the most important thing, the the token and the new website. Um, we have we have been consistently working at that. However, we ourselves have just been at a little bit of an impasse, um, figuring out the way that we're going to implement it. Now, this is because it requires about three different contracts or Web3 integrations, and our dev our dev got a fair way with that, but he's come to the conclusion that he's just not confident um, going public with something of that level and not having all of the T's crossed and the I's dotted. So we didn't want anything like what happened to the pups going on, where there was problems after launch. So this hasn't it doesn't stop us by any means, but we just had to come to the decision, which I was discussing with Swede yesterday, to go with one of the original devs we had contracted for this to complete those contracts. Now, this guy is really top notch. Like he gets things done, but um, dealing with him now is somewhat harder because of just how the space has evolved since between the time of DogeX launch and now. And that has to do with the fact that any React dev who's worth his salt is, well, he can charge a higher price. So it is more expensive, but that we can still afford it quite easily. But the other thing is we've just had to find somebody that we can give details to for him for tax purposes. Um, so the long and short of it is that it is still on track. We did, we have been delayed a little bit by uh, deciding to go in this new direction. So we weren't quite able to update you exactly on what we were going to do because we were ourselves unsure, but that has been resolved. We're going to go in this direction. It will guarantee a higher quality mark. And now that we've pulled the trigger, um, we'll need to get ETA from him, but it shouldn't be too long. And in connection with that, launching this token, I'm going to talk to Matt Wallace. Fortunately, I don't think he's here on the call. Um, perhaps some could, perhaps somebody could add him in chat because I just noticed that he was live on Telegram. He might jump on, but I will speak to him about getting a promotional regime in place for that. So if we can get it boosted on his channel and through some of the other connections that I understand he's been building, because this will be a publicly tradable token with the advantage of being connected with an extant community, we should be able to like boost our profile there. So yes, that's the token and the site. Now that reminds me, the site there have been you want it refined a bit. Now, of course, the most important thing is that regardless of what it looks like, we have to have the back end functioning correctly. So I've already gone over that. This is what this step that we will bring on board will handle. But we will endeavor to keep refining the front end as well. So it is a nicer design. Now, this is something that I talked in detail with Swede about yesterday, and he's made me aware that there are people who are good at that design in the community. So it is something that we can liaise on, because I think the front end branding, of course, is the first thing you see, and people want it to reflect, what how the community conceptualizes the image it has of itself. So I think it would be a good idea to draw on those things, and or we can run the guy that we have. We can run the output that we get past you guys. Swede, you're going to say something?
Yeah, because we have a big, great community, and we have a bunch of great people
Mm.
that are have experience with a lot of different things. So if some people are saying that they can make a better job on the homepage, we should maybe listen to that, and maybe take some help from that, even if they think that they can. Uh, so I don't see that as a bad thing, having a big community, So we should definitely use it, if we can.
Yeah, definitely. And there's already been some pretty great images that have been made by the
Yeah,
community, and
absolutely.
that leads me to the DogeX comics. I've seen some of the the initial work that Swede's team has put together. I was just saying to Swede yesterday, like when I was coming up with the backstory for some of the special doges, it's kind of like he's just pulled those images out of my mind. Like he's really got one of I think it's the QTN Doge, and like that alchemical mythos has really been distilled into the graphic. So
Yeah,
the way that it will likely work is I'm not quite sure yet on exactly what will drop when. Um, just what comes, what's going to reach completion first.
yeah.
It might be the
It is
comics. It
community
might be,
driven, so yeah,
yeah, it might be the thing. But what we want to try to do, as always, is just keep a steady stream of updates going. Now, it is unfortunate that we had this delay with the contract and that. So we are frustrated about that ourselves, particularly
yeah.
after we
Myself,
did.
I'm used to having delays in projects. It's quite usual, but we have had a lot of delays on this project, and it's understandable to see the frustration, from some people.
Yeah, and so you have to understand that our dev had like he has been putting in a lot of hours every day
Yeah,
on these contracts, and it was just like he didn't want to do this himself, but he couldn't in good faith keep going forward. Because the reason why he was doing it, this is what you need to understand, is we want to like conserve as much project funds as possible. So he
yeah,
wanted
of
to
course.
he was just contracting with some of the, I mean, they're okay guys just to get tips from, but he's doing most of the work himself, and it just the scale of it. As I said, he came to conclude that it wasn't going to work. So we didn't know we couldn't keep going down this road until we got so far down that in coming back, it's taken us a little bit more time. But circling
Yeah,
back to what I was saying about steady updates, like now that we have taken this decision, and I
yeah,
know on Swede's end of things with the comics, which will develop the mythos of that, and fill out like the various levels of characters which are built into the project. We can start keeping the roadmap steadily updating. So it could be that we have the comics drop, and then the token, and then and the new website, of course, and then from there we can move in to, I mean, before that, a listing on Rarible. So I think I did see that in one of my chats. I've got a lot of them, so sometimes I just miss checking individual conversations, but I know somebody said Rarible. So,
Yeah,
it's not, I'm not saying that Rarible is like the definitive um, thing in the project, but it's just another one of those updates which can be rolled out. And then once we've completed token launch, the contract, promotion for that, and everything's running smoothly there, then we can move into the merchandise at that stage. So that will give us something else to fill the project out with. Now, I think it's the Broke Millionaire was DMing me with some really sick looking stuff. Like
yeah,
I think they were great brands. Yeah, and with the DogeX, like the logo and just how it looks, it's very I don't know if it's just me, it just interfaces with like shoes and other stuff
yeah, yeah.
really well.
It's
Yeah.
really good.
And I also have a guy who can do this for doormats too. I think I might have mentioned this. I have one myself, connected with another project, and yeah, good quality mat and everything. I think that's a little bit different because I've never seen anybody else um, roll out that sort of merchandise, and you know, just not something you expect. And
Yeah,
so then after that, in the more distant future, and our movement toward this will depend a little bit on how the roadmap I've just gone over goes. But we will look in the distant future toward the game development. So that's a brief of where we are at the moment, as honestly as I can possibly put it. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, concerns, or questions, and
yeah.
I'll do my best to answer. And if I don't have one off the top of my head, if it's a bit more technical, then I
Mm.
can just make a note and go back to the other team members.
I would just like to um, bring up one thing that I've seen a lot in chats everywhere, asking about developments, funds, and everything. Uh, some people want to know more in depth how the funds has been spent and like how much is left for the project. Pretty much, that's been a big question for a lot of people.
Okay, yeah, there's we have 50K locked into USDC from the ETH, and that was sold at a slightly higher level, just to uh, diversify a bit, and then the rest of it up to about the value of, I think it depends on ETH, but it was together with the 50K, it brings us in the region of usually around 130 to 160K USD.
Is that what's left in total?
Yeah.
Okay. And do we know how the other funds has been spent from the NFTs?
So I think I talked about this a little bit last time. So once the parties involved had their payment, including like the art team from QTN, which was quite extensive, like the costs of getting this off the ground. We of course had sweeping costs for the floor while the mint was going on, and that was quite expensive because, like, point zero 0.06 or 0.05 every time, plus like $100 gas fee. So quite a bit went there. Now, having said that, if we do get the floor price up as we get things moving, the project starts to attract more eyes on it, we'll be able to replenish our funds from the the team holdings of the PFPs.
Hmm.
It's not that not we have extremely valuable ones. I think there's like a mostly Earths and Moons and a few Journey Doges, but there's quite a lot of them. So that's another like future store of value. And yeah, of course we've had some uh, payments for the dev we have just working on the contracts. He did try to get out, like he had to consult on that, so that's costs as well, and for our mods, just it's not a huge outlay, but it is a steady one.
All right.
So I'm gonna jump in real quick if that's okay. In terms of the breakdown, in percentages are perfectly fine. Basically, we have community members that are absolutely going nuts over it because they're seeing $3 million into the project, hearing $180,000 remaining, and seeing no progress. Is there any way, like, you can at least give us an example of a breakdown, saying 20% here, 20% there, and 30%, etc., to where can at least give everyone a little more of a comfortable understanding? And I'm sorry to ask it like that, but that's what's going on.
Yeah, I think we could put together maybe a pie chart actually of the costs and also funding plans going forward. I should also mention that the token launch, if especially if we can get good publicity for that, it will be able to put aside an allocation for the project.
If we could do a
like a pie chart would be great. Yeah,
it gives us something to show them, because a lot of people don't really know where the funds went, and we've had that 250 ETH or something like that went to the art team, which seems absorbently large, and then 200K went to Matt. If we can get just a nice breakdown to give them, that would really settle the community down a lot, because they're just hearing 3 million and seeing nothing.
Yeah, that's understandable. All right, so hopefully with a breakdown and getting the token out and things moving, that should alleviate things a bit there. It is frustrating for us as well, because we really did want to crack on with it. But of course, the effort our dev's been putting in, because it hasn't really materialized in anything, that doesn't sort of translate for the community as a whole, even if we tell you about it. So that's why we decided to just we have to bring in the big guns now and just push over this impasse.
Okay,
great.
Yeah, if I could just chime in really quick on that same note, if you could, like a pie chart would be a great thing. I've seen on a lot of other projects websites pie charts on there, and that really helps the community that answer a lot of the questions the community has. And then also breakdowns of what you were saying, Julian, about future project dollars and where they're going to be going to too would be great.
Yes.
So if we're jumping in with questions, I guess I can push it on to the next one, and if we can get that pie chart, that would set a lot of minds at ease. But the next thing I would like to personally visit back on is, we had metaverse updates in the Discord all the way up to October 23rd, and give or take that week, right about when the mint ended, and we haven't seen anything further progress in that. Not even hints, tips, or anything like that. And it was mentioned by Sir Doge that AR VR was looked at or started on Android and iPhone. There was quite a few comments made about that. Do you know what the status is of that? Is that still in the plan? Because basically everyone in the project, including us, when we gave updates to the community, we were told the devs are working on the game, the devs are working on AR VR, and the pups. And then it came to fruition per the last meeting that apparently there was no work on the game at all. And that's also something that really set the community on a little bit of a fire note there.
Yeah. So I do recall going over that. Like, we are keeping the game on the further out horizon. it just made more sense to go with like the token and the utility because everybody else was bringing that out. So we kind of have to ensure that we do get that to remain competitive. So it's not ideal, but it does make sense to go in that sequence and not like put a lot of resources now straight into the game and delaying token website utility. So we just had to push it out further. But in doing that, we're endeavoring to ensure that our large holders for the staking that's reflected in what they get out of that. So it's a way of compensating, I guess, for not being able to do that right now.
Okay. Is the staking coming out with the token? The website or
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
the...
So that's why, like, because there's a lot of moving parts to it. I don't pretend to understand any of this technical side, so I'm just going off what the dev told me. But to get your token contract, staking contract, the website integration, like there's your three basic parts there. It all has to be working smoothly together. So yeah, to get it up and running and efficient from the get-go, that's why we're bringing him in. So it will all hit together.
And have we figured out how much percentage, like for the like Mars and asteroids, and for like how the token airdrop's going to be for that, or for staking as well?
That's going to be something that we'll get out of this step when he gets to work on it.
Yeah.
And just while we're talking about those percentages, the airdrops and the amounts, we did mention earlier in the chat about just having it as the same rarity percentages, and I believe it was okay then. Is that something you're still going to go down the road of?
Sorry, is the what percentages?
The rarities of the NFTs. So for the example,
yeah. So that's something we want to work out. Like the rarity scale is integral to the project, so we do want to see that reflected in outputs for holders.
And then...
All right.
okay, so I'll
Go for it, sorry.
Julian, I've also been in touch with quite a few members of the community, and I guess the common theme of the project right now that's bugging us is really the under delivery, really, and the over promising. And I guess we need more faith in the community. Right now, this is just another example of another part of the, I suppose, hype that we look forward to. It's another delay. So, how can we fix this for the future?
That's a good question. I know it's not ideal. We had this delay after slow movement over the end of year period. So yeah, we're just going to like as we do move toward this token launch, we're also not neglecting like other updates to roll out. So like the comics are also nearing their fruition, and then we'll be looking at the merchandise for after the launch. So I think the way that we're planning to approach it is like once we have something completed, then we can let me put it like this: by ensuring that there's secondary effort put into other aspects of the project other than the most immediate next stage, it gives us like more reserve to move from, so we can have things steadily updating and already be familiar with their timetable for rolling them out. So like, you know, with this utility token, like we've and doing it and moving along that road with obstacles where we know it's going to take more time. So having already like starting to go down the development of these other things, it means that we will have a better grasp of the time it's going to take. And yeah, so just should keep everything in more of a steady state.
How many people do we got working on the actual project right now on your side, like putting in the efforts? Is it more than one person, two person, three person?
Well, with the new dev we're bringing aboard, it'll take us to a total of 5.
Okay, so 5 people working on the token, or just like the project in general?
Well, the dev, React dev, and our existing dev will be the ones who are working on the token.
Try that. So there's 5 in total on the team, but there's 2 working on the token.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Great.
Julian, I'm just going to go back to your answer just about the delivery and that sort of thing. My honest opinion is that there's not enough transparency, and I guess the things that you've talked about, I'm guessing they weren't just all dropped on you this morning and told that the tokens aren't going to be possible, and we're all finding out now. And I know hindsight's a pain in the ass, but if we look back and start learning from things, we could have been kept in the loop about some of these things as they happened. And I guess that's part of keeping us happy from our side, that we know what's going on. That's just me personally how I feel. Even just, and like, I mean, it was just a couple of days ago, I'd asked if we're on track with things, and Swede said yes, we were. So has this all just happened over the weekend that it's all been delayed?
Yeah, basically, it was about my Friday or Saturday. I had a chat with our team dev, and he told me what I told you. He'd come to a conclusion that he just couldn't push through the level of complexity and scale that this would require. So at that point, we immediately started pivoting to Plan B, which is being implemented now.
Are we going to have a problem with money-wise to advertise and to keep the project going from what we have, or is that a problem right now to get things going?
Oh, we should have funds available for some advertising, and this is why I want to ensure that Matt's on board for the token launch. I have spoken to him briefly about this, like I've apprised him of the situation around that. So it will make sense to try some advertising pushes at that stage, and if we can get him boosting it, get it back into the eye of like the broader Doge community as well, then that should be good.
Then on those lines, I know Matt. We want him boosting and everything, and it would be, you know, Matt's decision. But is that something that he might be able to do as a future, or has it been discussed as a future Patreon pick for him? Because like he's starting to do those blue chip launches with new tokens. So I was wondering if that's in discussion at all.
Do you think a Patreon pick would be like that?
Yeah,
That'd be a
I
big
mean,
push.
oh, it'd be a huge push because if you look at his last one, he just did that Felino token of his, and
Yeah.
it went up, 100, what is it, 10x right away. Like, got
Mhm.
tons of new people in there right away, and then his tokens usually they push, they don't
Yeah.
pump, but they come down, but they don't come down all the way. Usually they come down like halfway, but you get so many no more new people in there right away off the bat. It definitely increased the value of the token and keep it at a higher level of liquidity there too for everybody.
That'd be a great idea. Try to push it for the Patreon.
Yeah, okay. I'm just looking at my chat with him now. So, yeah, he agrees that it could be a lucrative thing for the project. Yeah, so he has expressed interest in that, and I think that I mean he can and should be brought on board. So
I
it will
think
be
he
good.
did mention something
We can
about.
spike guys around that time.
I think he did mention that. I mean, if he had a little bit more, part of the project, a little bit more, he'd probably help a little bit more than he could, right? I think he's only limited to so much to what he's doing or what he's involved with, right? Before we have to, start spending money. So
It's not really all that. It's also him being very busy as well. He has been very busy on his own as well. So it's not only that part, Maybe in the early parts it was that he didn't have as much, but now lately he could have helped out a lot more, But we're working on it anyways.
right,
What I will
cool.
do is I will speak to Matt directly about this and get him updated on everything. Pretty much what we've gone over here. I mean, he is up with some things, but as Sweet said, he's a little bit busy.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I think the Patreon idea is a good one. That's what I meant. I didn't realize Patreon was sort of the big thing. What Matt can do. I was just thinking more about his connections as well that he tells me he's been building up and getting it back on his YouTube channel. But Patreon as well does make sense since this is a public token that he can pick, and I think a major asset is an existing community as well that's stuck around. So that's good for people looking at it because it just doesn't come out of nowhere like a pump and dump scheme does.
On that note, with reference to our community as a whole, a lot of our community has genuinely just lost a lot of trust and faith in the project. I know Swede Zero, myself, and a lot of our mods, we do everything we can to reassure everyone and provide all the information and be as transparent as we can. A lot of other projects that are out there have their devs on the Discord with them. I realize that you guys aren't a big fan of Discord. Is there any way we can get at least the team to jump in and even if they come in and answer questions once a week or just give a little bit of love back to the community? Because in recent days we've had a lot of big names in the community really start kind of go off the handle and become very aggressive, calling the project a scam, threatening litigation and stuff like that, etc. as they do. I think in your opinion, is there anything like that we can do to try and regain trust back in the community so that we can continue to maintain and hold this up?
Yeah, I will. I'll make an effort to get either myself or others on there every so often, like on a bi-weekly basis, something like that.
Maybe even make an AMA as well. Maybe just answer some questions that the community might have. I think that could be really good to get some support back from the community again.
Yeah, could I add to that part? I guess we've been here from day one of minting, and I myself have invested very heavily in this project, and it was on the belief that we were going to get certain things. And I guess the more that we say that we hear that we're getting something and it doesn't happen, or there's under delivery, or it's late, it all just builds less and less trust. And for me personally, Julian, I can see now that being involved with you since Christmas time, or since after the New Year's, through this chat, that you have come across a lot of difficulties. But we really need to be keeping the community on board with things, and when it happens, the worst thing is waiting for an announcement and waiting for the delivery of something, and it's just not there. And then when hardly hearing anything, it just builds less and less faith. So we really need to fix this, and I think it really does mean that you have a community that's been so loyal, it's been through so much, and I guess we just want to know that you guys care about the project as much as we do.
Yeah, and the best way we can demonstrate that is by expediting things, which is the decision that we've taken this weekend. So yeah, it's difficult to I realize it's from the outside looking in. It's not something we can rectify overnight, but we'll get the we do mean to make a push on the contract with this new dev. We will keep you like once he starts grappling with it and can give us a breakdown of what's going to be available, we'll let you guys know, and we'll let the community know. I will get Matt brought up to date as well, and I will ensure that myself or somebody else in the team makes it to Discord every week.
That's
Yeah,
great.
I think sorry guys, I think after talking about, trying to get on board with Matt Wallace, I think that's going to kind of be the center point after this chat, and hoping that the token gets pushed properly. So, I mean, as soon as you talk to him, is there any way you can let everybody know, like, at least through this chat, to the information and what happens with that?
Yeah. You just messaged me now, actually. So, once I get off this call, if we're both around, I will I'll talk to him about that and let you guys know.
Boom, that's the Doge connection. He felt it.
And also, could we also please get a ETA as soon as you know, with this new dev working on the contract on the website too, about this token launch? It'd be really nice to know what he thinks, what time frame he's got for us, what we're looking at, so we can start letting people know too a little bit.
Yeah.
On that as well, just to take a step back, do we have any ETA on the website re-enabling claiming for people that still want to claim their pups? And is there any way we can reduce that from every 1,000 to like every 100? Because at the rate they were minting...
Yeah, talk about that.
Sorry?
So
No, I talked about... Yeah.
Sorry, Swede, what are you saying?
No, I talked about reducing from 1,000 to 100 the reveals of the pups, after every mint. I don't know if I talked to you about it, or I think it was Advaland I was talking to. Anyways, yeah, they're just wondering about when they're able to mint the pups again.
Okay, that's something I'll check with our dev about and let you guys know.
Okay. And then in reference to the website, is there a reason that we abandoned the other original page that was very well put together, in my opinion, and could have just been built off of?
I mean, we can go back to that. I personally thought it needed an upgrade, but yeah, like people like it.
I think the
We
original
could
web page
conceivably
really
put the
had. Sorry.
behind that. Yeah.
I think the original web page really had, the Doge community. They felt that they could relate with it. It symbolized everything the project was trying to show. And sure, it needed an upgrade by all means, and everything needed to be included on it. But I think changing it entirely from what it originally was threw a lot of people off. And now, every day we hear someone saying, "Oh, my 15-year-old brother could have done that in 20 minutes." So I think if there's any way we can just go back to that one and continue to build off it, if it's easier for you guys too, since it's something that's already like essentially completed and just needs to be upgraded. Just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, and we can go back to it. If that's if everybody's happy with how it looks on the front end.
Well, yeah, I think the old site is better than the new site in my opinion. And if there's more things that needs to be added as the token gets created here, we'll just upgrade that on the site. It shouldn't be that hard, I guess. But it depends on you guys that develop it. What's easiest for you?
I think we should make sure it's mobile efficient, because that's the biggest thing with SEO, with websites, and just being
Yes.
noticed on any type of search. That'd be a good thing to focus on, and it'll just be good for it anyways.
Yeah, it has to work
And
on mobile.
I do have a question regarding like the website. Is there any way that you guys can utilize us to help you with any of this? Myself, I did go to college and I did learn quite a bit of some of this stuff, and I've been here since day one wanting to help out. Is there anything that you guys can have the community help you with?
On the website, like Swede was saying with the design, if we go in a new direction from both existing ones, yeah, I mean, certainly.
Because so I mean, like, for example, like I'm working on like the comic book and everything right now, and I feel as if we could utilize some of the artwork that we're working on and integrate that within the website, be able to piece two things together and move forward in a a good direction.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, Julian, just a couple of things as well. I know that you're working on sort of things that we've asked for the community, and that's fantastic that you have done that. I guess the biggest thing really to build more faith is people have asked things like, have you done other projects, and are you prepared to have that as part of your credentials? It's something that we can be moving forward with as well.
Sorry, other projects?
Yeah, like, have you had any experience in running any or doing any other NFT projects?
No.
Oh, right. So I just thought
Not
earlier
me
you said that
personally. Others in the team have.
Okay, I've spent a lot of time learning about this space, and I'm learning that on this side of the world that I'm in, and I'm judging by your accent, it sounds like you're from my way as well. The Americans' markets, it's a lot different to what we have over here. I've learned all about Twitter. I've learned all about different things and how important Discord is. But the most important thing I've learned about NFTs is it's the community. That's what really makes a project. That's what's out there, shilling it, advertising it, wanting other people to be a part of. And I just think that we've got something here that is more than a gem with what we've got here. So what about putting together a bit of a team where we could all be I suppose looking after that side of things and the marketing side of things, because for me, that's what this project's been lacking. And I talk about the delivery side. You've agreed to fix that, but for example, I've gone out on Twitter and I've talked to everyone about being able to stake things this week, and it gives us bad credibility. But if we've got more of a say on how we market things, if we're in more, I suppose, we're told more often as it happens what's going on, we can go out there and start shilling things. But yeah, I guess even something like setting up a bit of a board where you have community members in there, and I guess that's what this chat was meant to be about. Yeah, we could utilise things a lot better. We're all prepared to put our hands up and do a bit extra, but we need something from.
I think having a sort of the thing that you're talking about is already pretty much set up. The only thing we need is things to push out, if we don't have any new information to start pushing, we can't really do anything. So now when the devs are starting to get back on track a bit, we're getting more things out. We should be able to start spreading more things on Twitter, start getting the Instagram account back, a new one, and just starting to spread out more again. I think that's important.
Yeah, for sure. Once you have an update to work with, it's a lot easier for a community to promote the project. But I wonder if perhaps if we had I don't know what it would look like exactly, but just and probably these things work better informally anyway. If we're having help from the community on certain matters, like the site design or the advertising. I know that some of you have brought that up, and like if things are if there are like some really good opportunities that the community finds, we can release some advertising money, something like that, and we can leverage our community to create a greater reach for the project.
So I have a
and I think Broke Millionaire has been doing a great job with the Twitter so far. It's slowed down a little bit now, but that's only because the updates has been slower. But he's still been doing a great job so far, So if we just get more stuff, more information, we have more to work with. Pretty much.
So I have two questions here, and probably going to be closer to the last ones that I'd have. It'd be good if we could get this going, but is there any way we can do an AMA, a public one? It can be on the Twitter Spaces instead of Discord, since they don't like it, but to try and get the actual entire team in to speak, because from October until now we're looking at 6 months, and no one in their right mind has any clue who even runs this project, aside from the few of us that even see you in here. And it's okay if they don't want to use their real names because they don't want to completely dox, but if they can at least use their Twitter account that may have, my Twitter account has Heisenex on it. I don't have my full name on there. That's perfectly fine, but at least there's some kind of substance behind the person that is apparently working on the project. Is there any way we can do the AMA and have them come out as well? Because I think that would really help the community, so that people could just ask them directly, what's going on, instead of having to go through multiple parties to get a question answered.
Yeah, I'll have to ask everybody, but I don't see why we couldn't get at least some of them on. The question would be when would be the best time to to do that. I think that once we have something definite from our new dev we're bringing in, at that point, it might make sense.
If you could get him
Mm-hmm.
to look at everything and say, you know what, I can get this turned around and get this token launched in a week, and then you could say next Saturday, let's do an AMA with the new dev, you and a couple of the other devs from the team on Twitter. Get that going. We can share it like crazy and get some hype up. Have Matt mention it. Have Matt join in and actually join in this time. I think that would blow the community up, and it would really, really help the project as a whole.
Yeah, I can't be certain that we can get the new dev on board because it's not like we're paying him for that specifically. It's just to produce the contract, but I can get, other team members on there, and I'll talk to Matt about promoting it as well. I think the main thing is that we do have, because this is the major thing, like it's the first thing I went over with you guys because it is something we need to get out there. So I don't want to go out there without having that definite expectation of when it can launch, because that'll look really bad if we go big and have another delay, or even if it's like one where it's completely unintentional and like we give a date and then we don't meet it. So
Yeah.
I agree with that too, Julian, and that would be the worst thing. But it is something that I see as an opportunity where we can start working together as a community and also the project team. Well, if we do have a Twitter Spaces, we could really blow these things up. I know that all of the unique holders all have Twitter presence, and it'd be great to have them all in there as well. We've talked about doing this sort of stuff, and believe it or not, the community's joked about having a movie on this one day. All the trials and tribulations of NFT spaces. It'd be a great thing for the future. But that's getting a wee bit off track, I guess. Look, I've just been hammering about the community because I see the stress that it puts some people through, and we see it daily. And that's why I think putting all these things in place is going to really help us all have a bit more faith. And I guess this whole doxing thing is it's foreign to me because I'm from a place where we all know each other's names. And we're big on Facebook over this side of the world. We put our real names up, and then all of a sudden I come to Twitter and I find out all this stuff about doxing, and it's how it's such a huge thing. But to me, like, I'm proud of what I do and who I am, and that's why I put my full name out there on Twitter. It is what it is. I was just wondering, Julian, is there anyone from the devs team that's prepared to do that at all as well?
Sorry, to docs?
That would be yes.
Probably not, I would say. I don't like most American, and they don't like it at all. I mean, it's really Matt. Matt was here from the beginning, and that was always the understanding, right? He's the public face of DogeX for the promotion, and for getting it up off the ground. So that was our lodestar there, and that's why it's important to get him integrated into anything we do moving forward.
Okay, that's fair enough. Cool. I do agree with that. It's just something that I do notice that some of the other elite projects are doing. They have their dev stocks from the start, and it's just at the moment there are so many projects right now rug pulling, and for people in the NFT spaces, it's just something that's building extra faith. So that's why I brought it up, and it has been asked upon me to bring it up. And to be fair, like I said earlier, my personal situation with doxing, I didn't see it as a big thing.
Right. I think
moving forward. Sorry, I'll let you speak. Where you go, Julian?
I was just going to say, let's make sure that, well, not us, but when I say us, I mean the team. Like, we want to make sure we get an action update out soon, and I think that will have the desired effect, right? Because I mean, there's actually a lot of people that, I don't know if it's sort of like a urban myth at this point that, you know, doxed projects can't or don't rug. Actually, they do all the time.
Yeah.
Even American ones. So it's not like a guarantor at the end of the day. It's delivering updates, and I understand that the delay on this is not good, which is why we've sort of taken a drastic decision to just outsource it and get it moving.
Julian, you seem like you're the lead dev on this project to me. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it just seems like your developer, your website developer, I'm guessing that is Sir Doge. It seems like he just has like the lack of communication from him. I'm not telling you this until this weekend. Is almost like a unexperience or something, or if he's a younger guy. I'm not sure. It just seems like there's a miscommunication, and I was wondering if there's anything you're doing to address that with him. If I'm accurate with this statement.
I will have to go back and make sure that as we move forward, everybody's got their assigned roles to do. Now, if we go with like the community for the design update, obviously that means like some of it's getting outsourced. Yeah, if he's working on that, just collating it all, I think that should be fine. But yeah, I will keep an eye on him. I think in fairness, it's because like he was going to have a technical update out on the contract, but because we ran into the difficulties with developing this, that's why that didn't happen. So yeah, some of what he would have been doing has been impacted by the overall obstacle that we ran into. So for me now, it's just a question of, now that we know and we readjusted, recalibrate the team, and start ensuring that like each one of them is contributing to the deliverable in question.
Yeah, and I understand it's a new space, a very new space yet, still in its infancy. So it's awesome that you guys did adjust that and realize. I mean, it was a little later than what much of us would have liked, but you guys have realized that you needed help with this, and you did bring it in, and really appreciate that.
Julian, I just didn't want to sound sort of all negative, hammering away, so I did want to bring something positive to the table. I've got a MMA show that I've been running over here in New Zealand. It's one of the top promotions in Australasia, and I'm willing to put a DogeX.ai logo inside the cage with your blessing, of course. But it would come with conditions that obviously this token launch goes smoothly, and my show's on April 30th. So we've got that long for everything to start coming right. And if that all works together, let's try and get that happening if you're happy with that.
Yeah, well, as you say, like we want to get the token sorted out first, so we all know where we are. But that sounds to me like an excellent like addition to the roadmap there, right? From kind of going from advertising strength to strength.
Perfect. Yep, love the sound of that. And yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can do with this all.
Most definitely.
Nice.
All right. Well, I will get back to you guys about the question on the pups, and I will also let you know where things stand after I talk to Matt Wallace more substantively, and once this new dev is gives us a breakdown, then I can first I'll let you guys know on that, and then once you know, we can begin to plan a Twitter space
Huh?
for a public AMA.
Sounds great.
All right, cool.
All right.
Then I'm good with that, and hopefully we see you in the Discord, or at least a couple of the other guys. And I'm sure when you come in, you will get questions. So don't be scared. We're here to help.
But there will be a lot of positive people in there as well. Being happy to see you guys in there as well.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Even if you're in there and you're not talking, at least leaving it up and minimized to show that you're in the Discord.
Showing that you exist.
Yeah, it would be pretty massive.
Okay. I didn't know about that, but I've only used it for this project. But yeah, I take your point. Well, it won't be all the time, but I think between us talking to you and the public AMA and just dropping in every so often to chat, like I think about probably will try to aim for like bi-weekly, something like that.
Even if you
from
came
there.
in just for small updates to say like, okay, it looks like we got the new developer. Developer said we're looking at a 1 to 2 week schedule. You came back 2 weeks later and said, developer looks good. We're planning to launch on this date. You're more than welcome to do announcements and everything on it as well. I think just constant communication is literally just all anyone's looking for.
100% agree with that.
The majority, I mean, if
Yep.
not all, the community was we lost a lot, unfortunately, in the Discord, and that's probably where we're going to see the most positivity come out of the growth, is to start in the Discord and then move over to Twitter.
Yeah. Okay. Take that on board. I'm gonna go and talk to Matt and the rest of the team now. So yeah, thanks for your input here, and yeah, I think we've got a package set up for moving forward now. So
Hey, and one quick thing, Julian. At the very beginning of the chat, I kind of disconnected with the like the connection. Is there any way that you can like supply anything you can as for like building like the comic book and everything, like the lore and everything between, so we can kind of write a little bit off of what you guys already have? Because I know that we have the DogeX Chronicles like storyline. If there's anything in addition to that, that'd be great, gratefully appreciated.
I think I already brought that up in the comics chat that the comic team has some freedom to make up some of our own backstory for the
Okay.
one-on-ones. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know if he spoke about it earlier, because I just had a terrible connection. I just wanted to
Okay.
make sure before we hopped off the call.
Oh yeah.
Make sure you make Elon Doge like really awesome, so Elon Musk sees it and
I would
Yeah.
trust
jumps
me.
aboard.
I begin working for Tesla this upcoming month, so I'm looking forward to actually be able to get some people within the company on board with this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
As well as
Congrats on that.
Matt. Yeah, thanks, man. Just trying to push everything forward, for the family, and I just want to see this go successful, because I see amazing things that can happen from here. So
Yes. Awesome, guys.
yeah. All right, guys. I will be in contact soon.
Thanks for your
Sounds
time
good.
today, Julian.
Thank you, Julian.
Appreciate you, buddy.
All right,
Thanks.
later.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Sweet.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Isaac.
Yep, thank you.